Joining us to tell us their point of view on the matter, I'm joined by activist and member of the Justice League NYC, Keris Lové. And Keris, good to have you.
I'm an activist and an artist from the Bronx. I'm with Justice League NYC, and I'm gonna make it quick.
Say the lack of justice is the long-standing reality of being a black woman in America. It's why instead of protesting, they are striking to show the economic power and influence black women. The nationwide strike, called A Day Without Black Women, encouraged participants not to spend money and not to go to work. Those who couldn't physically strike were encouraged to wear Brianna's favorite color, purple, or to use a custom Zoom background for meetings.
It is time that this country starts to respect our bodies and our lives. We cannot accept a black woman being murdered in her home.
Define race from the way it is used in the United States, but also globally. What is race?
Race is a social construct built on phenotype. A social construct is an idea that has been created and accepted by the people in a society. When we look at race to define people, we are focusing on physical similarities between groups of people. The United States has used race to structurally decide who would have access to resources while simultaneously deciding who would gatekeep these resources.
Examples of that we see in housing and redlining, policing methods, pay inequity and the wealth gap, as well as access to healthcare and even being believed by healthcare providers. These structures have been upheld by policy and laws created by those in power. When we examine the gaps in education and how and why the school-to-prison pipeline exists, we must examine the policies that anchored this. So, in order to do this, we must take a look at our historical timeline in this country of manufactured laws and legislation that has led to education and wealth gaps that we currently see impacting mostly Black people and other people of color. What we gotta do. But we also must stay in the streets. Because Black women uphold the Democratic Party. And you will not continue to use us as mules and don't give us no damn policy. So let me tell you something, Black women. When we go to the polls and we vote, we need to let people know that we're making them one term. If they ain't coming with generation, don't ask this one term. We're not going to keep asking Black women to save you, and you don't give us no policy.
What could be done to improve living conditions, dismantle capitalism, pay reparations to the descendants of the enslaved Africans on this soil, to close the wealth gap, and to tax the wealthy, their wealth.
Quick question: how do you dismantle capitalism?
Yeah, well, one, by dismantle capitalism, you're basically saying that we're not going to have a bottom caste system. So we can't allow just the wealthy few to be able to accumulate so much wealth to where we have a housing crisis.
Right.
So you have to put a cap on people being able to eat from other people's plates.
So for those of us that don't truly understand how you put a cap on something like that, how do you go about doing something like that?
You cap the amount, the ways in which, so nobody makes $1 billion. They take $1 billion. They take $1 billion by exploiting labor, by outsourcing labor overseas, by not paying livable wages. You can't have the cost of living and say that market rate rent in the city that I'm from, New York City in the Bronx, is $1,800, but the median income in my neighborhood is $37,500.
$37,500 a year?
A year. So who says that $1,800 is actually, how could that be market rate when the median income is only $37,500?
So capitalism makes people poor.
Absolutely.
And they make you poor by overcharging and underpaying.
Yes, and criminalizing poverty. You criminalize poverty when the interest rates are higher because your credit score, which is made up, that when your credit score is too low. You criminalize poverty when, if I go into an emergency room because I'm having an emergency, but I don't have health insurance, which also is not afforded to everybody, now I have this bill. that impacts my credit, we have to stop criminalizing poverty as well.
That's a fact. I definitely agree with you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Has always passed race-based policies and legislation for other groups, and it's time that we do the same for the Black community.
We hope that you will go home and love on your Black family, your Black children, your Black men. We hope that you will black out your screens with purple today in solidarity for Breonna Taylor, because there's a Breonna Taylor in every city, in every state across this nation.